Realism, in philosophical terms, is that reality can be explained by things that are concrete and observable. Realists believe that the world can be categorized, explained, and rationalized through scientific reasoning. Aristotle, after becoming a student under Plato, began this ideology. Much later, English philosopher John Locke created many influential writings, including his most famous work, an essay concerning human understanding. His writings influenced many later philosophers such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and some of his ideas are reflected in the United States Constitution. Since realism is based on observations and concrete evidence, math, science, and technology tend to dominate the curriculum, with a large focus on labs and lectures.
Realism as an artistic movement began in France after the Third French Revolution around 1850. Realism was a reaction against Romanticism. Romanticism valued emotion and free expression. In the words of Romantic German painter Caspar David Friedrich, the artist feeling is his law. In contrast to this, realistic art was an attempt to objectively represent reality as it is in real life, apart from the artist's emotions or impressions. Realistic artists generally depicted everyday people and objects. The effect of realism on theater was a shift of focus to a social and psychological issues presented in everyday life. Realism and idealism are two of the oldest basic philosophies of education, put forward by Plato and Aristotle respectively. Idealism is the view that reality exists in ideas, perfect and flawless. Conversely, realism views reality objectively, accepting things as they exist. For a realist, if a tree falls and no one is around to hear it, there is still a sound. Idealism believes that the student should learn wisdom through the study of history, literature, philosophy, and religion. In contrast, the heart of realism is the study of the real world through a focus on math and science. The spotlight is on experimentation and scientific critical thinking.
Realism is most concerned with what can be observed through the five senses. Imagine an apple. How do you know that this item is an apple? One may be able to imagine its looks, texture, smell, and possibly taste. This is how we perceive an apple. However, if we were given this item, it would be very difficult to classify based on our five senses. As realism is focused on the real world and observable data, realist curriculum centers on the real world and the study of practical subjects, reading, math, and the physical sciences. Realism uses the scientific method to understand the world through systematic observation. The role of the teacher is a source of knowledge to present the material systematically, and the student receives this knowledge passively. The ideal application of realism in a classroom would be a lecture-style class, with students diligently absorbing the teacher's vast knowledge. A recitation component could also be used to facilitate the students' recital of knowledge they have learned.